Okay, hey, it's me, Mike Taylor. We are continuing on our detailing adventure for our mass timber building and our little penthouse exercise here. I hope it's been helpful so far, and I'm hoping in this video we kind of conclude with getting some of these detail elements into the drawing so you can kind of have a coherent set of architectural documentation for our building. So, with that being said, let's jump right into our Revit stream here and just continue the narrative of how are we tying these systems together. I would say that when we look at the roof to the wall, you're going, well, this is, Revit is a little still somehow in its infancy when it comes to how these intersections take place. Certainly people smarter than me have adventured into creating the appropriate intersections here. So what I like to do is kind of start the process here and give ourselves a little bit of latitude to craft a drawing that represents the condition. So back to the argument of if you can draw it in AutoCAD, you can draw it in Revit. We've done a lot of background work to make these systems talk to one another. We've got our wall assembly, we got our roof assembly, we got our structural assembly, we got a column in here, all of these things talking to one another. And now what I'd like to do is just kind of step into the next phase, right? So the first thing we might want to do is start to imagine how how that stud wall is actually going to come down into, say, our assembly here. Or in my case, I'd actually like to draw, like I said, a little curb here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to draw it like this for now. Concrete is not the best option in terms of a mass timber building, but it's what I'm going to draw in the interest of not having a structural engineer to talk to. So jump up here to annotate, and we're going to start adding some more detail. Annotate region, filled region. And now you should see a little set of tools emerge, and we're going to draw ourselves a little curb here just below our structural wall, and we'll draw it. Let's just draw something here. I think we'll probably do 250. So I'm going to make this 250, and the height of it, let's call it 600. What I like to do is create, roughly speaking, 150 millimeters to the underside of whatever assembly is outside to the top of the next assembly. So what that means is if I'm going to do a little dimension here, that's 215. It needs to minimum be 150. So I could probably make this 550, something like this. I like to use round numbers. It's up to you guys what you want to do. What is this assembly? Right now it is showing as a filled region diagonal. I don't know if I have a filled region that shows concrete. So filled regions are basically just little shapes that I can draw, and they have a set of lines. So center line, right? I can draw it as a center line. I can draw it as a invisible line. I can draw it as a overhead, which is dashed. And I should say these are all the pre-baked Revit template versions of this. And the other thing I want to do is just jump in here and go to edit type. And I would love to duplicate this and create a little concrete hatch for us. So let's call this concrete. Probably need a concrete hatch. Concrete, jump in here, kablamo. Let's look up the concrete, and looking good, hit concrete. And just like that, I'm gonna hit okay. We should see a concrete hatch emerge if I hit the check mark here. So what's good about these filled regions is they are actually going to overlay on top of the information we have from Revit. So you'll see very quickly, we're gonna essentially hide the model information. This is one philosophy of drawing in Revit. This is how I draw in Revit. This is how I draw in the office in Revit. People might have a different version of this. For our purposes, I feel like this is the best version. So if I hit check mark, a little piece of concrete. So looking a touch thick. Wonder if there's a slightly different version. Probably not. Medium? Let's see what we get with medium lines. You know what? Structurally, we want it to be nice and beefy. So let's just tab select. I'm going to make that thick lines. It is supposed to be, or wide lines. It is supposed to be representative of something very thick, but you can see in Revit, this might frustrate you, is that even though these lines are linear, I should say, or collinear is the right word, it appears as this, collinear to the center. Look at all these rounded edges. So softer, I guess. Do a little concrete in there. So next step, what do we want to show? We probably need to create what do I want to show? Probably need to create, how does this overlap? So at which point do we kind of transition between wall and roof, right? So I might actually argue that we want our roof to actually extend all the way in here, but Revit's not so smart at making this happen. We can do it a couple different ways. So say, for instance, I want to lift this whole thing up. I can certainly do that. And what I'll do is I'll just take a little dimension here. I'll take a dimension. What did I just say? It was 385. Is that right? 385. Feels wrong. Edit our type here. Oh, 385. Cool. So I'm going to take this wall here, and I'm actually going to... why is the base offset so... That's so silly. So the base offset should actually be roof. Base offset should be roof. And I'm going to make the base offset 385. I'm going to make it go up to the penthouse. So, and like that, we've raised... Oh, it didn't go up high enough. Oh, 385. Right. So this is where it's going to be... This is fine. This is what I want. This is good. Now I need to change where this roof is actually coming in. I need to offset that roof by 150 inside. So come back to my 3D, touch my roof here, and I'm actually going to come in here and edit the footprint. I'm going to offset by 150. Offset by 150. Make sure you turn off copy here. And I'm just going to literally offset all four sides of my roof. Hit check mark. And now if I jump back to my wall section, ta-da! So closer to what we want, but now the concrete overlaps, or our little concrete paver overlaps with the wall. So you can't win. I tell you can't win in Revit. So usually what happens is we have a great background here, and you're probably going to end up redrawing parts of this. So what do we want to draw first? Let's think about the actually at this scale it might not even matter. So I'm going to say at this scale, I would love for us to be able to draw our AVB, so the air vapor barrier. So the air vapor barrier needs to tie into the roofing membrane. For now, let's try it. So this is a filled region. The other thing we're going to use are detail lines. The detail lines are here. Got a detail line in here. Let's look for the membrane one. There should be a... Why is there no membrane one? In my head, there's always a membrane one. But that's okay. Let's use hidden for now. And I'm going to go ahead and just draw where I think the membrane should be. I'll stop it here. And now what we're going to do is we need to transition, right? We're going to go from the horizontal surface. This is the what I would actually call a 2-ply mod bit or a modified bituminous SBS, styrene butadiene styrene roof, which is a pretty common roof. TPO's common as well, but it's very cheap. So I'd like to use a more robust version. And what's going to happen is here we got a little air vapor, you got the roofing membrane, and now it needs to go vertical. So one thing I like to do, you guys are welcome to do this, any version you want to do this, but I'm going to create similar here. And I like to just give myself a little bit of an offset. This can be pretty tough given the scale of this drawing, but I'm going to draw our roofing membrane. It's going to come up, and I would actually like it to come all the way up to the top of our curb here. Make sense? And I can actually go ahead and trim this. And now we have the roofing membrane. So that roofing membrane is now going to keep our roof nice and dry. Well, I should say not nice and dry, but prevents the wet from getting in. The second thing here we're going to want to do is maybe we draw in our AVB. So there's going to have to, what we do is we lap our air vapor barrier over our roofing membrane. So I like to do about 150 again, 6 inches, but I would like to offset this by, let's call it 5, and let's do 150 or so. Oops. And then actually I'm going to turn off that offset. Oh no, I need it for the wall. Need it for the wall. Go all the way up. All the way up. Nice. Something like this. And I also need to just do a little shiplap here. So a shiplap means that any water that gets into this wall assembly can drain out, right? So the idea here is that we are lapping over the roofing membrane. So making sure that we're creating a little, I don't want to say a pool, but the best analogy I always had was we don't tuck our pants into our boots in the middle of a rainstorm, because then you get water in your boots. We want them to be over our boots, and then the water drains away and not into our boots. AVB. What else we got? We probably need to do some insulation work here, right? So one thing that, again, Revit, terrible at these junctures. So we need to create a little bit of a insulation type here. So let's do a component, detail component, annotate region, filled region. Do I have a insulation? Doesn't look like it. So let's fake it for now. I'm just going to quickly draw in a little piece of, let's use medium. And I'm going to draw a little piece in here. Need a little checkbox here. I obviously don't want concrete. Oh, that's too thick. Let's do, maybe it's just lines. Let's see what we got for lines. Still too thick. Did I not change it? Maybe I didn't change it. I didn't change it. Lines, check mark. Oh, lines are green for some reason. Super useful. Okay, lines are green for some reason. Do we have, I can't use medium. Thin lines? I guess we're using thin lines. Okay, so just so you can see here, I can drag this up or down, and it's going to cover our other parts of the model, even our concrete. So what I want to do here is I'm actually going to jump in here, hit edit type, and a duplicate. We probably want XPS insulation or, mineral wool insulation. I'm just using the XPS tag, or XPS hatch. Mineral wool insulation. I'm going to come over here and double click here and crosshatch. We'll double check which one this is. I think this is correct, but let's try this out. Crosshatch, hit OK. Too beefy, slightly too big. You know what I can do is I'm going to double check which hatch we use, and then we'll know. Which hatch is it? Please tell me. Crosshatch 3mm. Isn't that the one I just had? Interesting, interesting. I feel like I have crosshatch 3mm. Oh, I don't. So crosshatch 3mm. Great. Now my hatches are misaligned. Can I adjust them? I can't. Wonderful. So we'll do our best to make the hatches line up. Oh, you bastard. Don't mess with me, Revit. Had a long day. I hate you so much, Revit. Oh my God, what's happening? So you could tell how joyful it is sometimes to draw inside of Revit. Let's all I'm trying to do is line up our hatches. And of course it's not letting me. Is it gonna let me? No, it just does its magical thing. What if I do this? Still no. What if I move it over? Doing the same thing. Oh my God. So, in the interest of time and making sure you guys have what you need, let's just go ahead and we're gonna do it this way. So this is still showing 95. So we actually want this to show 100. Why is it showing 95? If I drag this up, I'm just going to drag it all the way up because I like a clean looking drawing. So everybody's got a different perspective on this. This is mine. Sometimes Revit doesn't cooperate, so you got to make it work. You might notice, okay, I'm covering my concrete now. What do? Click on this. I'm going to go bring to front, and now it's in the front. Okay, what else do we have to do? We've got a little steel angle. Maybe we should do that. We don't need a steel angle. We're good. We got this concrete in here. What else do we want to show? You know, I would argue we're probably going to have to do something at the base here. So, oftentimes what happens is there's a little bit of a gap between, and you'll see this, there's a little bit of a gap between the bottom of the wall and the, in this case, our curb. So what I'd love to do is actually lift this up even more. I'm actually going to lift this wall up to be here. And now we have this, actually that's everywhere. Let's make sure we do all of the walls. So I'm just going to go ahead and do base constraint roof, and then up by, what did I say, 550? I think that's correct. And now we should be able to see our detail. Nice. So what'll happen is at some point here, there's a little piece of flashing that comes in and drains off to the roof. And all I did was change the base offset to 550 for anybody tracking that. We can see that if I just dimension from here to here, a little 550. What am I seeing beyond here? Oh no, what have I done? Right. So sometimes what will happen is you could see here, because everything's being modeled in real time, you might actually just make this into a little wall. So in the interest of time and making sure you guys have what you need, I am actually just going to trim our far clip here to be independent, and I'm going to make it 500. And that way, oh great. That way we don't see anything. I'd like to be able to see our column. Too far. Let's lower this a little bit. This is how far we can see inside the drawing. So I'm kind of faking this as we go. Just let me see the column, but not the far wall. Still no. And I must have been so close with my 1000. Damn it. Okay, cool. So that all being said, we're starting to look the part here. So this flashing really needs to be up. It needs to be up about 150 in here. So pre-finished metal flashing. What I would love for us to do is have a little piece of metal flashing in here. And what that looks like is just basically a couple lines, right? So we can do this a couple different ways. I think the simplest for me is going to be using detail lines. So again, if you could draw in AutoCAD, you can draw it in Revit. Let's do annotate, and we're going to jump to our detail lines, or DL for short. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw with, I can't use lines. I got to use thin lines here. And let's go ahead and draw ourselves a flashing. So let's start, let's give ourselves 150. Nice, generous flashing here. You can see at this scale, it starts to get pretty tough to see everything that's going on. That's why I advise for a slightly gentler scale here. It's pretty challenging to see all of this stuff happening. It's probably okay. Oh, I should say Revit does have a habit of moving lines once they're drawn, can be a little bit tedious. So apologies from those of you who are in Revit for the first time. So some flashing in there. It's looking good. Topping. Looking good. You know, AVB continuity looking good. So, you know, back to our idea of maybe we want to show a little bit of a top track and a bottom track for our stud assembly. So a top track is essentially, if I had a marker board, I'd do it for us in real time. But studs sit inside of a track, and the tracks typically look like something like this. I'm going to draw this at 38-ish. Let's just do 200. Should be 203, but let's just do 200. Excuse me. Again, it's going to be pretty hard to see at this scale, but if I pull, whoops, this over and then over by 1.5 or so, almost impossible to see at this scale. That's cool. So also helpful to draw a little bit of, let's call it a little trough here. So what I'd love for us to have is a little bit of gravel just at the edge here. Let's call it 200 or so away from the wall. So 200 millimeters of gravel in here. And if I hit this little check mark here, it's still going to show as concrete. Let's make sure we change this to, oh, do I have a gravel? I do not have a gravel. So I'm going to go in here, edit type, duplicate, gravel. And now jump into here. We've got gravel. We don't have gravel. What to show as gravel? Do we have anything fun? Maybe we just use sand. So I don't have oh, I have stone. Okay, let's try this. Let's give this a shot. I'm worried about the scale. Rightfully so. Okay, edit type. Can I change the scale? I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to edit. No. How do I just duplicate? Oh, copy. Gravel. Now I'm going to import custom. Let's see what we got. Gravel. Can I scale? Nice. So you can change the import scale down here. So let's do 0.25 and see what we get. So I want it to be much, much, much more granular, forgive the pun. This is looking a little thick. So let's just do this real quick. And thin lines, where are you? Something like this. Why does this look so bad? I will have to edit this type. This is not looking right. Let's give this a little, let's do 0.5. Maybe we can get away with, yikes. Looking heinous. That looks bad. So let's not do that. We will do it slightly differently. Edit type. I'm going to make this sand, I guess, which is fine. But let's go to detailing here. Let's just make this sand. Sand. Yeah, sure. Let's just make it sand. I know it's gravel. You know, oh, good thing it looks so different from the concrete. Anyhow, so this is part of the challenge of drawing in Revit. If you don't have the right family set up from the get-go, it definitely can be a little tedious to get those hatches. But you had to build those hatches anyways, right? So we're here. Inside of AutoCAD, I mean. Okay, what else do we want to show? We got this. Okay, so I don't know what these dimensions are for. Maybe they were supposed to show something in a previous life. 550 here. You could do this a couple different ways if we want to show dimension strings. That's rad. But we can also do annotate over here, and we can actually show spot elevation. So this is really helpful. Spot elevation and blam. So 2750. So that's above 0. So depending on how you want to do this, we've got target relative. This should be, oh, it still doesn't help us. Vertical. I like this one. But we can edit this to show elevation base. Let's see if relative is going to let us. Nah, doesn't matter. 2150. So 2150, we see here roof is 21200. So we know the top of our curb is, in fact, 21750. It's up to you how you want to do it. It's also 550 above the slab. In this case, I would probably only keep one of these, but for our purposes, I'll keep both. Some just key dimensions here. Let's just, if you really want to know. Maybe I do this. Oops, 553. Get out of town. So be really careful when we start introducing these filled regions. They can be a little nebulous. So it goes. So created this little bad boy here. Kablam over there. And what else do we want to do? We probably need to show some of these things. So for the actual assembly of the roof itself, I should say the floor, the floor itself, in the very same way as I showed the walls, we can actually just create a little type mark here. So if I wanted to come in here, you should see a little type mark here, and I would call that FL1. Annotate. Jump over here to tag by category, and oh, I must not have floor tags. Oh, goodness gracious. No floor tags. So I probably got to load one. So it's going, what the hell do you want me to do? I'm going to jump into Insert, Load Autodesk Family. We're going to look for floor tag. Hopefully there is one. Search. Nice. Tag floor. Load that. Now I should be able to go into Annotate and tag by category. Oh, goodness gracious. No, I just want, this doesn't need to be so serious. Yikes. Can I use this instead? Is this it? This is it. This is not what I want. Damn you, Revit. Fooled me again. Annotate. Let's try this one more time. Insert. Load Autodesk Family. Maybe I loaded the wrong one? I don't think so. I think that's just it. Tag category. Ugh, so useless. So in the interest of time, let's just do it the good old-fashioned way, which is to use a little text chain here. So I'm going to go, how do they want it done? Like this, and, boop, boop. Now we got 50 millimeter, whoops. Con topping on, whoops. On 19mm plywood. Is that right? Nice. You can see here, because of our scale, there's these text boxes are getting pretty big. So just as a thought exercise, what I would do is actually, what happens when we make this 1 to 10? You can see how the text fits a lot better. In the interest of time, let us just move this over a touch. How big is this? 2.5 is totally reasonable. I'm just gonna move this over a touch. I'm really hating this arrow though. You guys mind if I change it? I'm gonna update that real quick right now. Edit type. Where is my arrow? Arrow 90 degrees. I hate it. Give me a filled 15. Let's do a filled 20. Filled 30. Let's see what we got. All right, that's looking all right. So it's up to you. The world's your oyster. Lots of different versions here. Doesn't matter. You could call it broccoli as long as I know what broccoli means. The arrow itself here, totally up to your personal preference, whatever aesthetic you choose, as long as I know it's an arrow. It's cool with me. Detail. Ooh, an angle. Don't need that. So similar thing. Let's jump over here. I'm going to do create similar. And I would like to, I need a little bit more room here. We got 50 millimeter precast paver on I think I did 75 millimeter gravel. Whoops. On, I think I got 200 millimeter insulation on a roofing membrane on millimeter sloped. Let's do polyiso. We're going to say sloped to drain. I'm going to say on. Well, I guess I got to do the whole thing. 50 millimeter conch topping on. Structure. Ta-da! Nice and beefy. So quite a bit of information in there. Oh, mechanically secured. So that's probably good to know. So mechanical securement versus self-adhered membranes, also really important. So I'm a self-adhered membrane person myself. So self-adhered means we've got glue instead of I should say fully adhered. Excuse me, fully adhered membranes. We use glue instead of nails or screws, I should say. So people like screws because they have the perception of lasting forever. For those of us with veneers on their teeth, like myself, we've got glue can last a really long time. So don't be afraid of glue. Some people like to glue and screw if you've done flooring before, but it's usually overkill on a roof. Anyhow, this one is mechanically secured. I leave it to you, however you want to do it. It's fine with me as long as it's on the wall. Okay, what else do we need in here? Getting a little messy for me. I would actually like to move this to the other side, so I'm actually going to delete this arrow and put it on the right. I'm going to move this over. I got to be careful with my... I should talk about that. Be careful with my annotation crop. I'm going to move this to the right because I'm a huge nerd. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, let's make sure that our annotation is cool and move that over just a touch. Move it down just a touch. Now, let's do our last one. So I'm a stickler for this, but I leave it to you however you want to do it. I like to keep these at 45 degrees or so. And we're going to do pre-finished. Actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to give you the real note. So we're going to do lap, air, vapor. Let's just do AVB. Air vapor barrier over non-metallic through wall flashing. Integrate AVB. Something like this. Let's try and keep this. Aligned to the wrong side. Keep it aligned. Whatever side you choose, keep it aligned. It can be helpful. Right? Nice to clean up our drawings, make everything nice and tidy. Try and make that 45 degrees, but it looks like I'm going to fail. Integrate. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine for now. Okay, now in fact, I wonder if I could just borrow that other detail. Can I? I don't think I can. Watch this. Watch how stupid Revit is. All I want to do is take this wall assembly. It's the same wall assembly, right? Control C. Let's try it in a wall section. Section can't because it's a different style of view. So for those of us that get extremely frustrated by stupid problems, like myself, this is such a fundamental problem that I don't understand it. It's literally an annotation. I can't, you can't, anyone can't, no one can copy a text from a plan detail into a section detail. Not possible. So, no, I don't want to save. That being said, let's go ahead and we're just going to draw a new identical one. I'm just going to do placeholder for now. Placeholder. Now, of course, what you can do is copy text. So you can't copy the text box, but I can go ahead and Control C. Come back in here. Oh my God, where did it go? It's there. So what a magical world that we live in when Revit wants to prohibit us from doing things that I don't really understand why. It must be something to do with the database, but it doesn't let you copy those text boxes, but it will let you copy the text within the text boxes. Deep breaths, right? So in a different world, annotate. Where's my annotation here? Tag by category, EW2, and you're done. So that would normally be what I would do. EW2. Interesting choice here. So there is something to say about why we don't dimension things in the horizontal way in a vertical section. And I'll keep it super simple, is that we only dimension things that are horizontal in a plan. And we want to see the vertical dimensions in a section. So why is that? Because sometimes things can be challenging or incorrect or whatever when we do things like this. We're measuring all these horizontal dimensions, and arguably I would rather see this in plan. So this 360, the 614, they should arguably match with the plan, but the plan also is going to govern. So, we're going to make sure that we're accurate. They should arguably both be the same, but just so you guys know, that is part and parcel of this process. So moving on, let's go up to the I realize I've been talking for far too long now. This is the biggest complaint I get is I talk too much, and sometimes that's okay, but I also appreciate you guys and appreciate the feedback that I talk too much. I know that. I'm doing my best over here. So what do I have for, oh, this is just the floor. I guess we need to throw a column in here. So it's me. You guessed it. I'm doing a filled region. So what do we say, 360 by something? So 360, doesn't really matter what the other dimension is. 360 it is. And check mark. Oh, well, I don't want that. Probably want that just to be... This is glue lamb. I probably want it to be some strands. So let's just do another one. Let's do an edit type. Let's duplicate it. Let's do glue lamb horizontal. You guys call it glulam. Glue lamb. Glue laminated. Glue laminates. We are gluing pieces of laminations together. It's not glulam, it's glue lamb, just so everybody knows. Glue lamb. And we got hatch. Let's just do this. Kablamo. I'm going to fake it, but what's important here is just to have an idea, a sense of this horizontal banding across our glue lamb. Hit OK. Something like this. And I'm going to jump in here and let's go back and we will edit our material here to be in the foreground. Let's do a vertical. Where's my verts? There we go. Vertical 3mm. Is that going to be right? Let's try this out. Let's try this out. Nice. Look at that. Glue lamb to glue lamb. No problem. Looking a little thick on this. And let's do thin lines. Kind of want it to be in the distance. So you can see, unfortunately, now what's happened is that Revit is like, oh, I see you had a filled region there. You can mess with this a little bit, whatever looks good. Okay. Getting somewhere. We got most of this stuff. Yeah, most of it. It's not bad, right? So let's go ahead and we're going to jump into how we might draw this parapet up. All right. So what do we want to do? Well, probably, I would really like for this this roof, in fact, is probably needs to float into the wall here so we can have some support. Otherwise, we're doing what's called balloon framing. We're probably not going to be balloon framing. We are probably platform framing. In the interest of time, what I'll do is let's go ahead and I would like to have this actually. Oh, you guys are going to see this is. Oh, this is separate though. Okay, that's okay. You're going to see some fun things that happen inside of Revit where we have overlaps, and trust me, it is frustrating, but I also think that it's good to have an accurate model and then do some of this work. So 238, I am going to modify my roof floor, or my floor of my roof, by 238. I'm actually going to come over here. Whoops, let's go to 3D, and I'm going to offset this by 238. Offset is OF, so 238. Blam, blam. Blam. I'm offsetting to the outside. Little check mark in there, don't attach. And let's just jump back to our wall section here. And now we have something like this. Is it better? Probably not. So I'm actually going to undo that. I don't know how helpful this is. So in a different life, I would actually model all of these walls separately. I don't think we have time to do that. So let's just undo all that. Blam, blam, blam. And we will just draw it. We're going to fake it a little bit, and that's okay by me. So the model information is all accurate, but now I'm just going to trace some of these things. I'm going to pull this out. Again, I'm doing another filled region here. Do I have wood? I don't even know if I've got wood. Let's do edit type. I'm going to duplicate, and let's do NLT. Whoops, not BLT, which I could totally go for right now. Hatch, and let's do, I think it's just softwood, but is that the one I had? I think it's wood 1. Let's do that. Hit OK. Something like this. And now it's looking good. Now mirror that up there. Drag this down. Make this plywood. I don't think I have a plywood. I am going to have to make another one. So let's do, oh wait, do I have just a diagonal hatch? No, just a diagonal. Nice. Okay, let's leave that for now. Let's save time doing that. Let's just double check this. Let's make this thin lines. Checkbox here. I want to make sure our structure is coming forward, so I'm going to bring it to the front. Good Good, good. And now I'm gonna go ahead and mirror this, drag this up. Let's make this concrete. More and more and more. I guess pull that. How do I want to do this? I'm actually probably going to pull this back just a touch. Pull this back as well. That is cool. Okay. Structure. So like I said, I like to start with the structure. So arguably what's happening here is it's a little bit lazy. I've got the wall for our kind of main assembly, and then I've got what I would call a parapet wall above, and that's complicated things a little bit for us, which is why we've got all these filled regions up here. But I hope this has been helpful. What we're going to do now is we're going to draw the remainder of this little assembly in here. So what I'd like to do is I've got some structure over here. I probably need to find a way to tie in some sense of where our insulation is going. So I'm going to just real quick, I copied the insulation to the back here. That's okay. You know what? I'm actually going to pull this down. So we have that insulation tie together. You can see that I'm losing a little bit of control over what my wall type, excuse me, my line types are looking like up here. So I can also pull this all the way down to here. Better or worse? I think that's worse. We got this. So our insulation layer is coming around. One thing I should share is there's something called the line work tool. So I can see this is reading pretty thick here on the edge. Line work is LW, and I'm actually going to change this little line at the edge here from what it's showing as to a thinner line. It's just helping me out, making our section look a little bit less, I don't want to say cluttered, but cluttered. I'm just going to mirror this as well. Let's just make one up here for diagonal. Let's just do this. Oh, nuts. I should probably do my plywood one. That's okay for now. Okie dokie. Now we've got some sense of insulation. We probably need to do the same thing that we did over here with our roofing membrane. So let's just make sure we got, I'm going to do a little create similar here. And going to offset by 5. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to draw. Draw my roofing membrane. I'm going to go blam. And I'm going to have it return up. I probably want it to come up a little bit here. I want it to be at least 150 above the roof line. So let's give ourselves, let's do 600, see where we're at. So 600 is pretty high here. Let's check this dimension, 265, not far off. I'm going to change this to 150. Now we're 150 above, and that is our roofing membrane. And now what I'd like to do is, oh, you know what? One thing I forgot is a filter cloth. We'll get back to that though. That's okay. What else do we want to show? Probably need to get into how are we going to do this little parapet up here. So what do we want to see? Well, I would suggest, you know, here we got some plywood in there. Plywood is a challenging exterior grade. Plywood can be a challenging material. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to propose that we actually do this out of steel. And this is something that is, I would argue, best practice. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of room here. So I'm going to draw in a steel plate. Let's call it 8 millimeters. It's going to be really tough to see in this detail, but that's okay. Let's do thin lines here. And what I'd like to do is edit type again. And we're going to duplicate this, and let's do steel. So I'm going to do steel, hit OK. And now jump in here to our foreground fill color, steel, wonderful, hit OK, OK, and check mark. We got a nice little steel platform here, and there should probably be some steel posts inside of our little assembly here. So what I'm going to do real quick is hit create similar. I was going to copy this. I should say you can always copy filled regions. Part of the power of this software is give myself a little bit. Oh, I didn't specify a dimension here. So let's check that real quick. What is it? here to here, 405. Oh, not bad. Let's make it 58. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's make it 400. A nice even number. And we'll make this one the same. Let's just do this. Oh, goodness. Blam. So all I'm doing now is I'm building up a little bit of, what I would imagine is our structural piece in here. So, hidden little tube in here. So we got a little tube coming from, call it a 102 by 102 HSS, a hollow structural section or hollow steel section. Do a little DL, and I'm going to offset that by 102 so you can see a little thin line here. And did I lose my 102? I did not. Is that thick enough? Yeah, it's probably fine. And let's do this real quick. Do 8, and I'm going to offset by 8, and we'll copy. And I'm going to match properties here. So match attributes, MA for short, just to dash in where I would love for our HSS to go. Okay, so that's all doing the work of this little piece up here. And now, what else we got to have up here? So one thing we should do is make sure our air vapor barrier is going all the way around. In that way, I like to offset a little bit here. So hit space if you're on the wrong side. And I'm going to go here and let's go down 150 or so. And over here, we will do the same thing. 150. And then I'm actually just going to lap this whole thing. Remember, we are trying our best to, we are going to tuck our pants over our shoes. So in that way, we're trying to keep everything nice and, correctly as dry as possible. I'm going to borrow this little piece of gravel that we got down here, throw that up here, something like this. Something like this. This is looking all right. All right. More. So what we need to do here is we're actually going to use a series of basically clips, but I should also do this first, actually. Let's just copy this. Whoops. You can see here there's a cold bridge or a thermal problem if we just kind of stack things on top of our plate steel here. So we want to make sure there are no thermal bridges. I'm just going to rotate this real quick and throw it on top of our insulation. We need a continuous insulation here, right? So like a nice blanket all the way around our building, keeping us nice and cozy inside. And one thing that you can do is if you take a look at the annotation tool over here, we got insulation. This is for bat insulation. We can set where's my width? Ah, there it is. In the insulation width here, I know that this cavity is, let's just double check. I think it's 203. We can set that, if I annotate, go to insulation, set this to 200, follow the middle line, and, ta-da! Can't do that in AutoCAD. I'm going to keep saying that just because it's fun. Now, I'm going to detail line us up some little supports for our coping up top. And I guess what I should do first, actually, is let's do a nice thick line here. So we got a nice, thick, wide line. Something like, oh, that's too thick. A nice medium line. And we're going to do a little very nicely organized. Let's do maybe 150. It's going to slope, a little back slope here. You can see Revit's even telling us what's the slope. We want it to be at least 5. And now we probably need to be 550 is probably good. Oh, I see. I've given myself a poor I always like to set this. So the other thing we can do is say, if we come over here to annotate, we've got spot coordinate, or whoops, spot elevation, and we'll use those, let's use the same one we got down here. CS and, oof, not great, terrible number. It's okay, it doesn't always need to be perfect, but I would love for this to be, did I tag the right one? I would love for this to be a real number. It's not going to let me. Oh, I see. Delete that for now. That's fine. So this is, some people call this cap flashing. I'm actually going to call this aluminum coping. So we're actually, if we've got aluminum on the outside, we're going to make ourselves up a little nice piece of aluminum up here. At this scale, it's going to be pretty hard to see, but I would normally treat this as a filled region with a thickness. And then I'm actually going to go in here and I don't trim. I'm actually going to need to, it's fillet. So fillet, I don't know the shortcut for fillet. Modify, and I'm going to draw in a little, where's my... Oh, in fact, I think it might even just be lines. Let's go to detail line here. And it is in here. So I'm just going to do it this way. Oh, there's definitely a way to do this. Annotate, detail line. It escapes me right now, but in my head, this is, it's in here. I'm just being so silly. Fillet arc. Here we go. So fillet arc. And I set the radius to something smart. So let's do 12. Let's see what that looks like. Nice little 12 millimeter radius. Just clean up the drawing a little bit. And so now that's looking all right. One thing we need to do is make sure we've got some support in here. Medium is good, but I need to make sure that I don't... it's looking a little... Scale is really hard. We got to make sure we're not showing too much. So 75, and then we'll come down. And these are going to be, whoops. I'm just going to fake it for now, guys, and we'll get organized here. These are little clips, and they can be really helpful for just fastening things. I'm just going to trim these out. And I do want to move this down just a touch so it reads better. The idea here is that we are creating a support for this little parapet, right? So last things last, we probably need to get a little bit of some sort of, it might be a good idea to have a drip edge on here. Oh, excuse me, we're going to do coping in here. So we don't need a drip edge there, but we're actually going to put one. Let's do the rest of this here. How do we want to do this? Let's do it like, what do we have? We got plywood. Yeah, I guess we can do it that way. Let's do it that way. So, real quick here, we just need something to secure this little piece of stuff to. So we're going to use this. And now I'm going to draw in a little bit more of our fancy, handy dandy flashing. And this is just a little bit for us to go like this, and then a little bit like this. And yeah, whoops. Something. Is that? Trim that out. It's not looking square. That's just me being neurotic. So something like that. Yeah. I don't think it's that bad. It's AutoCAD. I mean, it's Revit. So, now we got to give ourselves some notes. I should probably, oh, I see. We haven't called out anything in this detail. So if that's all we got to call out, then I'm going to go ahead and copy this one over. Kablamo. And probably going to swap it. It's going to hide everything on me. That's cool. And I'm actually going to make it go on that side. And I'm going to go like that. And I go like that. And now, is this still the right assembly? Ooh, did I not change the assembly? No, we need to have that up there. It's fine. We need to have something to, some sort of ballast to keep the roof down from floating away. So that's still cool. Not a lot of dimensions in this. Might be helpful to kind of see a dimension line from here up to whatever this is. So 922, sure, we can do it that way. Anyways, that is, sorry, I went pretty quickly, but I want you guys to understand the filled regions are a huge part of this for me anyways. I think that this is certainly, not that dissimilar from drawing in AutoCAD. I do think that the scales of the details we've got can be a little challenging. So if I jump over to my drawings here, did we mess anything up? It's okay. Might get a little tight once we got some other drawings in here, but just so you remember, we've also, everything here is showing up 1 to 20, 1 to 20, looking good. Potentially, maybe we want to show more. It's up to you if you want to show more of the roof here. It just means you got to extend our detail lines here. So remember that if you've got detailed lines or filled regions in here, that they only go as far as you've drawn them. I hope that was helpful. Maybe we can leave it there. I know that this was really the assignment that I wanted to get through. And yeah, so I hope this has been helpful. And if you do have questions, comments, or criticisms about the process here, I am open to feedback. I think that I want you guys to succeed, and I know this is a lot. Revit is a lot itself, so hopefully this has been helpful. And if not, please tell me, and we can make some adjustments. But in the interest of continuing on ARC 215, I am thinking that we probably need some assistance doing some other detail style drawings, and we're going to keep this process up, and I hope you get something out of it. So we'll talk soon, and if you have class with me on tomorrow morning, I'll see you then, and if not, I'll see you on Wednesday night, and if not at all, then that's also totally fine, and I'll see you some other time. Bye, guys. Thanks.